am Sue Webley. Welcome to another episode of Inspire. Good morning to you. Welcome to another episode of Inspire. I'm so glad that you are hanging out with us on this Saturday morning. If you're hailing from the West Coast, if you're hailing from the Midwest, I know you love me. Thank you so much. I know it's early over there. And most of us on Saturdays, most of us were raised on Saturdays. We do all of our errands. We clean the house and do all those things. So if you've taken time out to come and hang out with us this morning, I appreciate you. I am Sue A. Webley. If you just stumbled upon this broadcast, you don't know who I am. I'm Sue A. Webley, an author, producer, minister, and entrepreneur. And I believe in the power of words, wisdom, and witness. And that is exactly what Inspire is all about. Every Saturday morning at 10 a.m., we hold space for honest and soulful and often transformative conversations from guests from all walks of life. If you've been with me for the last 4 years, yes, Inspire is 4 years old this month. You know, we talk to everybody. We talk to entrepreneurs and artists and thought leaders and organizers and everyday people who are living boldly and authentically. We explore topics that matter, from mental health to identity to faith, business, justice, creativity, and healing. And so whether we are spotlighting an amazing community leader or celebrating someone's personal triumphs, Inspire is rooted in the power of story and the belief that when we speak our truth, we light the way for others. I want to invite you, as you are coming in, to connect, follow, like, and subscribe. We are on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok at Inspire with Sue W. If you've been following me from Paris Solutions, LLC, when we first started, thank you very much. Paris Solutions is still in full effect. That is my baby. That's my business. But we are expanding the Inspire with Sue Webley platform. And so we invite you to go ahead and follow and subscribe to us. Also, you can head over to our website at www.getinspired.live, www.getinspired.live. There you can watch all of our previous episodes, and you can subscribe to our newsletter because we don't want you to miss anything that's happening with Inspire. So I see y'all coming in. Do me a favor, cousin. Oh, listen, the people are happy Pride, cousin. Happy Pride. Listen, as you're coming in, do me a favor, say that you're here so I can shout you out and let me know what you're sipping on this morning. So y'all know I got coffee in my cup, and so I'm prodded out today. I'm fearfully and fabulously made. Let me know if you want one of these t-shirts. Also, my Pride tumbler. So, you know, I got to be rainbowed out today. Got coffee in my cup. Let me know what you have in your cup, whether it's water, tea, whether it's coffee like me, whether it's a smoothie, if it's something stronger. Girl, listen, I am not, hey, chat, I am not judging you if it's something stronger. So I'm going to take a sip and let me know where you're watching from, right? I want to know where you're watching from this morning. All right. So, and share this broadcast out. Share this broadcast out with your folk. Tell them to come on and hang out with us. So we are right in the middle, right in the heart, right at the center of Pride Month and Black Music Month. And so Before we bring our fabulous guests on, which I'm so excited to talk to Paris, before we bring him on, I want to ground us in what that actually means for this space and for this conversation. Pride Month didn't start as a marketing campaign or a rainbow filter. So, if you happen to be on and you don't know anything, let me educate you a little bit. All right. So it didn't start this marketing campaign or went rainbow filter. It began as resistance. Pride was a protest, right? So in June 1969, LGBTQ folks at the Stonewall Inn in New York City finally said enough to the constant raids and harassment, and what followed were days of uprising that helped ignite the gay rights movement. Pride grew from those nights, first as a march, then as a month-long observance to honor LGBTQ lives, culture, and the ongoing fight for safety and dignity. At the same time, June is Black Music Month, and that's also known as African American Music Appreciation Month, a time set aside since 1979 to intentionally recognize ways Black musicians, singers, songwriters, and producers have shaped every major genre in this country: gospel, jazz, blues, soul, funk, hip hop, house, and more. And in other words, the soundtrack of America is Black, and a whole lot of it is queer. And so when you put those two observances together, Pride and Black Music Month, you get a very particular story. The story of Black queer people who have used sound and dance and community to survive what this world has thrown at us. That's the story that we've been leading to on Inspire all month. Last week, if you were with us last week, we had a return guest, Dr. Danny Matthews. If you did not watch that, I invite you to go and watch that episode. And so we sat in the truth that many of us were never given safe spaces to process our trauma. She talked about her childhood sexual abuse, addiction, relapse, a stroke that took her off her feet, and the long, humbling work of healing. And she gave us a line that has stayed with me: your trauma is not your fault, but your healing is your responsibility. And so we thank Danny for coming on and hanging out with us today. But we have an amazing guest today. Today's conversation with Paris Hairston lives in that same ecosystem, but from a different angle. Paris is a singer, dancer, actor, producer, director. So come on, you better be all the things, Paris. Songwriter and founder of AeonStar Records. He has shared stages with legends of Black music and has spent his life inside the worlds of house and ballroom, including as a member of the legendary House of Ninja. He was one of the first openly gay Vogue performers, touring inside hip hop in the 1990s, bringing Black queer movements into spaces that were not always ready or willing to receive it. And for some, that may sound like just another fun fact on a bio, but for those who know the history, you know that being Black, queer, and visible in those spaces was dangerous. You know that house music, ballroom culture, and the dance floor itself became sanctuaries when churches and families said, we don't have room for you here. And I can attest to that. I often tell folk, well, I grew up in the bosom of house music, and I found God in the club, right? Dancing to house music. So I can attest to that. The same way the streets of Harlem almost took Danny out and shaped the woman she is today, the ballroom and the club have been both battlefield and altar for folks like Paris. So I'm inviting you today to listen to today's conversation through that lens. Yes, enjoy the stories about fashion and runway and music, but also listen for the deeper themes. What does it mean to build a life as a Black queer artist in a world that is trying to legislate you out of existence? What does it mean to turn your gifts into a label, into productions, into spaces where the next generation can be seen and mentored? What does joy look like when you know what violence and erasure feel like? Here's what I believe. To honor Pride Month well, we have to do more than wave a flag. We have to tell the truth about how we got here and who paid the cost. To honor Black Music Month well, we have to do more than make a playlist. We have to honor the communities, the neighborhoods, and the dance floors where this music was born, and the people whose names don't always make it into the history books. That's what Inspire exists to do, to hold story, to speak truth, and to make room for conversations that don't always fit neatly into a Sunday sermon or a boardroom agenda. My hope is that something you hear today will not just entertain you, but invite you to reflect. Where have Black music and queer creativity given you life? Where might you need to start your own healing? Where can you show up differently for the Black queer folks in your life right now? Just take a breath, settle in, and as always, share this conversation with someone who needs it, because when we tell the truth out loud, we don't just free ourselves, we light the way for someone else. And as we prepare to meet Paris today, let's take a look at some of Paris's work. I'm so excited about this. I'm not going to play the whole thing. But I need to give you a taste of what Paris is about. Let's do this.
What I've learned from the Lord is that he shall always remain a blessing to his people. And what the people must understand, including myself, there's never any time for second guessing. Be blessed, beloved.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah. Oh, I have learned. One thing I'm learning in life, to always treat people right. You'll never judge a book by its cover, 'cause one day you will discover it's not always like it seems. You got to believe it's not always like it seems. You got to believe. I have learned, yeah. I have learned. You should give. I have learned. I have learned. Yeah.
Here we are. I'm so grateful to invite our guest today, Paris. I don't see you on screen back there, so come on screen. Come on screen.
How do we do that?
Turn the camera on. Your camera's off?
Yeah. Wait.
Now I know. Listen. I know we saw your beautiful face. I saw your.
Listen, I'm technically challenged. How do you do this? Wait, that's a wide camera.
I think it's trying to. You want to jump out and jump back in while I talk? I'll just talk to the people. You jump out and jump back in.
Hold on. Let's go. Wait for it. No.
All right. So while Paris is jumping out and jumping back in. Listen, Chad. This was. I wanted to play that whole video. Okay, I wanted to play the whole thing, but I think I would play the second part of it as we end our time together today. He's in this new part. Okay. I don't know what is happening.
I don't either.
Man. All
I
right.
just
As long as we it's about to be a good conversation, okay? All right. I know it's gonna be a good conversation because of technical difficulties. But yeah, where are you all watching from? Chad, where are you watching from this morning? Oh, yeah, you're in New York. Okay. I was born and raised in New York. I'm from Brooklyn. And yeah, I will always rep Brooklyn to the day I die. There you are. Let's see if it works.
okay. So when I turn it to landscape,
Okay.
it goes out.
All right. Well, turn it up. Turn it back. Turn it back to vertical so we can get this conversation going. York, Pennsylvania. Okay. York, Pennsylvania. Anybody in York? I don't know everybody in York. Yeah, welcome. I'm so glad that you're here hanging out with us. All right, we're going to leave it like this.
Yeah.
Good morning, Paris.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
It's so good to meet you.
And,
It's so good to be in this space with you. Thank you for the gift that you are to the world.
Thank you so much.
Go ahead.
I'm just being me. So
Yeah, listen. And that's all it takes. Just being yourself.
To be anybody else. So
yeah. Thank you so much. Before we get into our conversation, I'm gonna ask you what you're sipping on. What you got in your cup this morning?
So I have some blue tea.
All right, let's put you because I need to see the cup.
My AeonStar mug.
All right.
Which is for sale,
Okay. Listen, you better plug.
Yes, on AeonStar Records. Yes.
Yeah, so we will be sure to put that link inside of the chat. And thank you for correcting me on that because I kept saying Aeon because in my mind it was like Aeon Flux, but yeah. But it's Eon. Is it Eon? So, yes. Yeah. Okay. So, thank you for correcting me on the pronunciation because I sure would have jacked it up.
So I'll give you a brief short. So what happened is that it was supposed to be Eon Records.
Okay.
And so when we did the search, my business partner and I, when we did the search, Eon Records was taken.
Mm-hmm.
We were sitting there, brainstorming, and I was like, well, we're about to make stars, so AeonStar, and I thought it was dumb. Like I thought it was a silly name, and he was like, "Oh, that's really, really good. Let's see." And so when we wrote it out, it looked amazing, and then we started fixing the logo and stuff. And so, as you see,
let me put you back full screen again.
Yeah, so as you see, we have, merchandise and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so so the name stuck, and we just put the A on there because I love the movie Aeon Flux.
Yeah.
So, we just put the A on there, and everybody does it, so don't feel bad.
Well, I want to get it right. Yeah. That's important for me to get it right. So I talked a little bit about who you are in your introduction, right? And so you started like performing as a child, and so when you think about those spaces and places that shaped you first, the home, maybe church, radio, the streets, what comes up for you?
God. So I was always a child who ran from God. So I was always the kid in church. Like my mom used to send me and my brother to church every Sunday, and my dad was a preacher, and so I'm a PK kid. He ultimately became a preacher, but I would always be in church going, "Don't let the spirit pass me by. Spirit, come on, pass me by. I don't want to shout. I don't want to embarrass myself. I don't want to fall out on the floor. None of that." And it wasn't until I was 23 that the spirit got a hold of me. And I was actually in search of my family when I really got tapped. But I always had God in my heart. And so I knew I had a special connection. And everything I wrote, I would write copies down scripts and rewrite scripts. And, you know, I'm a hands-on person.
Mm-hmm.
So I will always write out people's scripts just to familiarize my body with creating. And so that was the first thing. And then my grandmother, who was a dancer at the Savoy Ballroom and the Apollo and the Cotton Club and all of that, and she was friends with all the celebrities. I would get the stereotypical come downstairs and dance and sing for the people. And Jocelyn Brown lived 2 doors away from us.
Mm.
And so all these celebrities would be in our homes. And I would come downstairs and perform, and then my grandma would go back upstairs and go to bed. And so that stuck with me. I knew the first time that I sang and danced for them, I was like, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life.
Wow.
And then everything else just started coming along. I'm a control freak. That's how I got.
You say you're a control freak?
I'm a control freak. So that's how I got to the writing and the producing. And oh, as a smaller stature person, I just was very aggressive. And so you couldn't tell me that I couldn't do it.
Right.
And so I would just, you know, people would ask me, can you do so and so and so and so? Sure, I can. And I'd be sitting there going, how the hell am I going to get through this?
Listen, the story of my life.
Yeah.
So, sure. Then we go find out. We'll teach ourselves.
And you
what
learn,
it is, yeah.
Like I learned from that I paid attention to everything. You know, attention to all details. So in all aspects of my creative life, I've said yes to everything, and then I've challenged myself to do it. And luckily, through the grace of God, you know, I've been successful.
Yeah. Amazing. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. It's wonderful to know like what your purpose is as a child. So many of us don't, you know, what do you want to be when you grow up? Oh, I want to be a doctor, a lawyer. You know what I'm saying? So, but you knew as a child, like this is what you wanted to do.
Yeah.
Right?
I knew my first musical play was The Christmas Carol. And being the smallest person in the whole school, smallest student in the school, I immediately was cast as Tiny Tim. And my glee club, because I don't know if people understand that we didn't start out in choirs. We started out as glee club in school. And so the glee club, and my teacher was like, we have to give you a song because your voice is amazing. And so they gave me a song in the musical. And I had to sing with the whole glee club. And I remember this lady sitting in the audience. She had a cane. She lived around the corner from us. She had 2 twin sons. And she walked up to me at the end and she said, you have a glorious voice. And I looked at her and I said, how did you hear that in the choir? She said, oh, we heard you loud and clear. And so when we came back off of Christmas vacation, my glee club teacher proceeded to kick me out of the glee club for singing too loud.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And so then I just knew I had it. Like you couldn't tell me nothing. And so, you know, I was like, well, I'm gonna be a singer. And I went home and told my mom, you know, that she kicked me out. And my mother went up there fussing and stuff. And they wanted to put me back in the glee club. And I told her, I said, I don't want to be in a glee club. Like, I don't want to be there if you don't want me there. And so that started my journey, starting to look at other stuff and singing in the choir and, you know, pushing my way into different things, different art expressions. So
yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. So you shared stages with legends like Aretha Franklin, Chaka Khan, Ollie Woodson, Barbara Tucker, Nea Day, and Vesta Williams. And as we celebrate Black Music Month, what would you say is one lesson from those experiences that you still carry with you today?
Trust your gift.
Mm.
Trust your gift. In those situations, I didn't go seeking them. I was singing a lot of them. I was singing background. Anaya Day is family. Rosalind Brown is my sister. Barbara Tucker is one of my close friends. Like, I grew up with these people. Like I said, Jocelyn Brown lived 2 doors from me. That was my inspiration. And my godmother. And so I just would sing, you know, and I would go places and I would sing. And most times I would be sitting in the audience and singing from the audience. And they would look and go, come here. And they, you know, they would go, come and join my background. And I would join the background, and then I would be at every show that they were performing. And then they would give me a job. Yeah.
Thank you. So you going to the 1990s, right? You were among the first openly gay Vogue performers touring inside hip hop culture in the 1990s. How do you look back on that season of your life? Like, what did it look and feel like from the inside?
Scary. Mm. It was very scary because, you know, in those days, being openly gay was not accepted.
Yeah.
Especially in hip hop culture.
Especially.
So I initially went on the tour as just one of the boys. And by accident, one of the dancers that I was friends with. So on the hip hop tours, this is what would happen. During the break, the dancers would battle on stage during intermission. And so the artists would make bets as to whose set of dancers would win the dance battle on this given night. Well, we were losing every night. And one of the other dancers we went out one night and he happened to see me voguing in the corner. Mm-hmm. And we had a meeting and they were like, how can we win? Because we keep losing and y'all are making us lose money. And we were like, well, first of all, we ain't getting none of it. Like, y'all betting, but we ain't getting none. And they was like, no, but y'all get bragging rights and blah, blah, blah. And so what can we do to, you know, to win, to come up with a win? And they were brainstorming, and my friend was like, oh, well, Paris Vogues, I saw him doing that last night in the club. And I was like mortified.
Wow.
And I'm sitting there like, you're about to get me fired off this tour. Mm. And these were some of the most aggressive, most macho brothers in a group. And I'm sitting there looking at them, and you know, the hush falls over the room and they go, Paris, you can Vogue? And I said, yeah. Yeah. What else you want me to say? And he was like, we using that tonight. The weapon. And I was like, you haven't even seen me Vogue yet. Hmm. He was like, well, what do you need? And I was like, okay, so there's certain songs that, you know, voguing is done to, blah, blah, blah. And I told him the songs. He was like, oh, okay, well, get the songs. And they did that. And that night we won the contest. Wow. And they just kept doing it. But I noticed that once that came out, I got moved to a separate hotel. Mm. You know, I came in a different door than the other dancers.
That's horrible.
I had different attire. I was treated different, you know, and in all reality, it wasn't bad, but it made for a wedge between the dancers because they felt I was being treated special.
Yeah.
You know, in my mind, I'm going, I didn't ask for this.
Right.
You all did this. And so now you can't be mad because you did it. You're the one that told. But you know, and then my name started getting around. So every time someone had a tour, they'd be like, call Paris. Call Paris. He's going to be our secret weapon. And it just blew up from there.
Wow. Wow. I see you. Thank you for sharing that. Hey, Minister Sandy, thank you for joining us. If you've just joined us, we are in conversation with Paris Hairston, founder of AeonStar Records. Want to make sure I got it right. If you have a question or a comment for Paris, please do me a favor and post it. We will be certain to have him respond before we end our time together today. So Paris, house and ballroom have been spiritual homes for so many Black queer folks. And I mentioned earlier that, you know, it was in house. It was in the bosom of house, like in the club. That's where I experienced God for the first time. Right. And can you share one night on the floor or on the runway that felt like church for you?
So there are several nights, but so I used to perform at an open mic in the village at this place called The Groove. And so my childhood friend, we went to junior high school together. He was the host. And so every time during intermission, the owner of the bar, he loves house music. So he would play house music. And there was this song by Donna Allen called He Is the Joy.
Yes.
And there's a breakdown in the song. And it goes from vocal to drum to piano to organ to bass to guitar. Yeah. And the bar is but so big. And he played this song one night. And I was not in control. And I was sitting there. We had just got off stage, and I was sitting there, and I was talking to a friend of mine. And I know the song. I'm familiar with the song. I've danced to the song for forever. And so I'm sitting there, and I'm starting to get into the song and get into the groove of it. And the next thing I know, I'm up, and I'm dancing. And I went straight to church. And I shut the whole bar down. Everybody just turned around and they were looking at me. And I was literally in my head going, I need you to release me because I don't have any control and I don't like to be out of control.
Yeah.
And when I finished, they just stood up and they started clapping. And I was looking at them because for me, I do this in the club all the time. I do this on stage with the artists that I work with. And so they just kept clapping. And I was like, and my friend was like, so you just shouted in the club? Yeah. You just went into your own little shout. And you took us from Africa to church, to the dance floor, to church, to the sky opened up. And we all saw God. While and I was like, what? And yeah. That was one
go ahead.
My early memories. I loved it. And that song still does it for me.
Yes, I love that song.
That song still does it for me. Barbara Tucker's stuff, Michelle Weeks stuff, Susu Bobian.
Yes.
And these all have become friends of mine and family of mine. So they're good. If I'm in the building and you're in the building and they're in the building and they're performing, you can guarantee Paris is getting called to the stage. Because they're like, nobody's going to shut it down like he does. And then I just became that person. But yeah, that was my first moment of like really just me connecting with God just in front of people.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. I can't tell you the number of times when I was in the club that, a song like I Shall Not Be Moved and straight church, right? And because as Black people, it's already, it is in us,
Yeah,
right? It is in our DNA
yeah,
to connect with spirit, through sound, through movement, through song, right?
yeah,
When I tell you, the whole club, straight church,
yeah,
straight church.
absolutely. And house, house heads, as we call ourselves, we're not ashamed.
Hmm.
We're not ashamed. When the gospel house songs come on, we lose it, and we're
Yeah,
proud of it. And that's our moment to communicate with God. For some of us who don't go to church as regularly as we should, that's our church for us.
hmm, hmm,
So at any given moment, depending on the song, we're gonna have this conversation,
yeah,
and then we're
yeah,
we're gonna release, and back to dancing, and then we're going home to do it all over again the next week or the next party.
yeah, 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 yeah. God is everywhere. The
Yeah,
divine is everywhere. Spirit is everywhere. And in my commentary, I talked about we seek seek the clubs and seek families and stuff like that because we've been pushed out of the places that supposed to accept us as we are. Right? We've been pushed out of those places that some of us were nurtured in, kicked out of the church, removed from leadership positions, kicked out of our homes. And so we found other places of refuge, and God was there.
yes, amen.
God is there, right? There's no separation between, there's this whole separation between secular and spiritual. No, God, it all comes from the same source. It all comes from the same source.
and
And I'm so grateful for that.
and that's what I tell people, like musically, whether it's gospel or it's secular, you can find God in any song.
Oh, yeah.
The moment that you are touched by a lyric or you're touched by an instrument, that's God. You can't, something moves you and you start to cry or you start to laugh or you start to feel something really, really deeply and it just shakes you to your core and you can't move. That's God.
Yeah.
So when I started writing, I didn't set out to write godly songs or church songs or gospel songs or anything. I just started writing.
Yeah.
And God kept giving me all of these songs. And I'm like, okay. And it got to a point where I was like, can I write secular stuff anymore? Because all he kept feeding me was, gospel stuff and inspirational stuff.
Yeah.
Then one day I sat down and him and I had a conversation and he was like, oh, secular is easy for you. He was like, but you're a minister. And
Mm.
everybody had been calling me a minister from childhood. And so he was like, but you're not the regular minister. And so I need you to write these songs. So that's that's what has come out. And I thrive at that. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's gospel songs are easy for me.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks to
Mm-hmm.
God.
Yeah. 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 Wonderful. I see some questions in the comment. Chad has two questions for you. So let me ask them before we get to why you started, AeonStar Records. So Chad says, what does Paris want the world to know about what he has learned in New York growing up in those particular circumstances?
So what I want the world to know is that you can be yourself anywhere. It's easier and more acceptable to be yourself than to try to be something or someone else. People will accept you more. Like I've people have horror stories of them coming out and their family throwing them out and all of that. I can empathize with that and I can sympathize with that. But that's not my story.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I didn't know that I was gay until I got older because I was so accepted. Now, if you talk to my family, they'll tell you, oh, we always knew. But they loved me so hard that it was normal to me. Me being me was normal to me.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I started designing clothes and going out and creating stuff and wearing different stuff that I created, it was in my head, it was normal to me.
Yeah.
And, you know, I would be out and people would be looking at me really strangely. And I'd be like, what's wrong with y'all? This is normal. Like, I do this all the time, you know, and they were like, that ain't normal. You know, and then I got some friends and my friends were like, you're very fashionable. You love fashion, but you don't dress like everybody else. And you haven't realized that. And I was like, it is what it is, but this is how I feel comfortable. So it just came natural. And it wasn't until I lost a child and I lost my girlfriend that I started to explore. And I was like, no other woman was her. And so I didn't want any other woman. And then I said, hey, all of these brothers are talking to me and they're interested. Let me see how this works. And then that started my journey of investigating the other side of my sexuality.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that with us. Yeah. It's important to. I mean, you're right. Not all of us have that same story. Have the story of we were put out.
Right.
When I came out to my mom, the 90s, she was like, you know what? I don't understand. I don't like it. I don't understand it. But you're my child, right? And I love you, and I don't ever want you to feel disconnected or separated from the family. But but I have encountered in my work with young people, with Black and Brown LGBTQ plus young people who have been, you know, homeless,
Yeah.
you know, housing, food challenge, you know, all of that. Because I was that. I was that. I didn't have the experience of being put out,
Right.
but I experienced what happens when you're out in the world without anybody else,
Yeah.
right? And so it is something that that we should really be thinking about. Oh, listen, if you believe in justice, right? If you
Yeah.
believe in justice, you can't separate. You can't you know, you can't separate or cherry pick uh, um,
Your
the
call.
justice initiatives, right? That you, which is why I'm just like, all right, you know, a lot of these churches, yeah, y'all not following Jesus, because Jesus was, he was a justice warrior.
Exactly.
Right. And so, yeah, thank you for sharing. I'll see y'all coming in. Do me a favor, if you have not done so already, let me know where you're watching from. Let me know who you are so we can shout you out. And share this conversation today. Chad had another question, and I think we kind of talked about it, Chad. But I'm going to ask the question anyway because we're kind of like in that theme. Chad says, "What can I do as an artist to connect with my authenticity and relationship with God?"
What you can do is you have to listen to your heart and you have to trust your gift. So in your artistry, like there are a lot of artists who go out there and they play what's popular. But you have to find what works for you, what moves you, you know, and then build from there. Because if you're just going out playing cover songs and you're never venturing off and challenging yourself to create and to develop your instrument in your own way, you know, you're never going to find yourself. So for these young artists who, oh, I want to sound like Beyonce, There's nothing wrong with Beyonce. Beyonce sounds like Beyonce because she's Beyonce. Find your own voice, develop your own voice, and don't get stuck in the cookie cutter machine. Don't allow people to dictate to you who you are. Find who you are and then wear that proudly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, such a wonderful response. Thank you so much for sharing that. Chad, I hope that helped you.
Hey,
I
Chad.
hope, I hope it helped you. So let's talk a little bit about AeonStar Records. Why did you start that label? What was the moment or maybe even the frustration, right, that pushed you from that, having that idea to actually building your own label?
So AeonStar's creation started out of me going to my friend's studio, another musician, Mr. Trevor P. Allen, God rest his soul. I went to the studio. We have been talking for years, over 10 years, about collaborating. And it didn't happen initially. Like he was busy, I was busy. The stars just didn't align. And then one day, a former friend said, "Hey, Trevor has a studio. You should go to Trevor's studio and record something." And so I called Trevor. We set up a meeting, and I went to the studio with the intent to record some music. Mm-hmm. And so we were sitting there talking, and Trevor asked me. He said, I know you're here to record something. We're going to get to that. But Paris, what is it that you ultimately want to do?" And Trevor was one of the only musicians on the open mic circuit who could actually get me to sing. And so I said to him, I sat there, he threw the question out, and I sat there and I said, "I want to be the next Berry Gordy. I want to start my own label. I want to write I want to write the songs. I want to get the artists. We know all the artists in the whole wide world. I want to get my favorite artists that I love." I said, "I want to write songs for them and I want to release it." I thought he was going to shut up and we were going to go and work on the song. And he turned around and looked at me. He said, "Hey, let's do it." So I'm sitting there going, okay, so now where do we go from here? Mm-hmm. And then we started brainstorming. Ultimately, on that day, we didn't record because now we have this whole idea and we're starting this record label. Now we got to go home and think of a song. I think of a title. Then we got to think of what we want to do, what type of music we want to do, who do we want to reach out to record, and blah, blah, blah. I had all this homework. I went home and I came back in 3 days with a binder this big, filled with every idea for AeonStar, Aeon Records at the time. And I had 3 different names and, all of this different stuff and the purpose and the goal and the mission statement and da-da-da. And he just looked at me and he was like, "Okay, we're starting a record label." And it started from there. And then we just started recording and I started doing demos. And what made him know that this was ordained was he started creating a track. And he's putting all these instruments together. Mm-hmm. And he said, "I want you to take this track home and I want you to write to it." And I said, "Oh, the song is written already. I don't know what you're talking about." And he was like, "What?" And I said, "Yeah, I just said you were creating the music and I just wrote the song. Logically, in my head, that just made sense. Mm-hmm. You're creating, I'm listening, write the song." We did that. We started recording. We did some demo vocals and we were very excited about it. And then we sent the song to Allison Williams. Mm-hmm. No, I'm lying. We sent that song to Kim Summerson, who you all heard sing "I Have Learned." Mm-hmm. And it was her birthday. And we sent her the song, and I said, yo, I have a song for you, a birthday song for, a gift. And she heard the song and she was like, oh my God, Paris, I've always wanted to do house music. And so we went in the studio and recorded the song, and the rest is history.
Wow, wow. Thank you for sharing with us. We're gonna watch the rest of that video when we close out today, because it just it did my heart happy, it did my heart glad. Thank you for sharing with that with us, Paris. So when you are working with emerging artists, especially Black and queer artists, what's one thing you tell them that you wish someone had told you when you were just starting out?
I wish someone had told me that I was as talented as I am. I had a lot of people tell me I was wasting my time. I've had a lot of people tell me I couldn't do it. I've had a lot of people tell me that I couldn't sing, or I needed to work on my writing. And when you tell me I can't do something, I'm going to fight that much harder, and I'm going to prove you wrong. And so I just kept trudging along, because in my head, no one can dictate to me who I am as a person and as a musician. And so when my business partner was looking at me going, you're an amazing writer. The stuff that you come up with is amazing. I knew I had someone in my corner. And so I was like, oh, okay. But, those early days of telling me I couldn't, I wish I had somebody who told me I could early on, and that I was onto something, as opposed to the naysayers and the jealous mongers going, you're never going to be anything. That's never going to work. Blah, blah, blah. And then coming back and asking me to write songs for them.
Mm.
So, yeah.
Won't they come back?
Yes, they will. Don't have any shame in doing it either.
Right.
And
go ahead.
They act like they have amnesia.
Right.
Yeah. Paris, when you gonna write me a song? What just
Weren't
happened?
you the one? What? Okay.
Turn the lights back on, because what are you talking about? And then when you call them on it and you tell them, you remind them, oh no, I didn't mean it like that. How did you mean it?
Right.
Because I know I'm not wrong.
I'm
not crazy. So, but yeah, it's so funny. But now I'm in a different place in my life. So I know what my gift is. And thanks to the encouragement of Trevor and now my new business partner, Kim Summerson, I can write you a song in 30 seconds. All I have to do is tap in. And now I've learned how to tap in. God gives me that luxury, so I can reach in and just pull out a song, whether it be secular, whether it be gospel, whether it country, it doesn't matter. But yeah, I wish someone had told me that, I had all these gifts to write plays and music and theater and dance and, do all of this stuff. So,
yeah. Thank you for sharing that. We talk about joy a lot on, I try to talk about joy every episode of Inspire. So where does joy live for you right now in your music, in movement, and in your everyday life, especially during this month?
Right now, the joy lives in my life by having people trust me with their gift. And people come to me and go, I need you to write a song. I would love to collaborate with you. Paris, you made me challenge myself to try other things and to try to be a writer, to attempt to write a song or create a melody or do some arrangements, because when my singers come in the studio, I'm cracking the whip, but I'm also encouraging them and pushing them to do stuff that they've never done. So if you tell me you've never wrote a song, I'll be like, just give me 4 lines. That's it. I'll do the rest, but give me 4 lines. And then they'll give it to me, and then I'll spin it around, and they go, oh my God, how did you wrote that? No, you wrote that. I just structured it. And so, yeah, that's my biggest joy, is to see the light bulb come on for someone who's never tried something because someone told them they couldn't do it.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. I love it. What is one thing that you want to leave with our viewers right now? Those who will catch this in replay, those who will hear this on audio. What is one thing that you would like to leave with them?
Continue to push yourself and to trust yourself. Even when you think it's not good, let someone else hear it, because it's most likely better than what you think. And so, and that's the lesson I had to learn, and I had to live with. So yeah, trust yourself, and challenge yourself to do other stuff. If it doesn't work, try something else, but keep trying.
Yeah.
Keep trying. Yeah. You'll get better at it.
Keep trying. Just, I don't know why, just keep swimming. With Dory, Finding Nemo just popped in my head. Just keep swimming. Yeah, keep trying. Keep trying.
You don't have me sit here and write this song, Keep Swimming.
Go ahead and write it. Go ahead and write it. I want to hear it too.
Watch.
I want to hear it too.
So I'm going to send it to you.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Watch.
All right. Listen, I'm looking forward to that. Yep. I'm looking forward
keep
to it.
Swimming. Yes.
Yeah, keep swimming. I love it. You've been such a joy. You've been such a joy today.
Sue in Paris. Keep swimming.
Yeah.
And then you have it.
And there you have it.
Yeah.
Paris, thank you so much
Absolutely.
for hanging out with me today.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
Yeah, it's been such a pleasure.
Yeah.
This time went by rather quickly.
Yeah. But thank Danny for being our connector.
Yay! Yep. Dr. Danny, if you're watching, thank you.
Yeah, we love her.
Yes, we do love her. We do love her.
Yes, ma'am.
And I know that this is not the last time that of course that we will we will speak, we will engage, we will interact. This is not the last time. This is just the beginning. Tell the people where to find you.
So you can find me on Facebook as Paris Hairston. Mm-hmm. You can find me on Instagram as Paris_AeonStar, or AeonStar Records, or Blue Light Records, which is my label dedicated to ballroom. Yeah. You can also find me at AeonStarRecords.us.
Yeah. Follow.
Yes.
Make sure you follow. Make sure you stay connected to Paris. And if you're listening, if you're watching or listening, if Paris's story touched you, something tender, a tender part of you, right, around identity and faith and or artistry, please remember, you don't have to unpack all of that alone. Like we are here for you.
Yes.
We are here. If you need to talk to someone, if you need to reach out, please do that. You are not alone. Reach out to community. We're here. You can inbox me anytime. I'm sure Paris will say the same, that you can inbox Paris at any time. And just need a listening ear, because I know it's tough. It's tough for some of our siblings.
Yeah.
This month. Yeah.
And for all those aspiring singers, feel free to reach out.
Yeah.
I teach, I vocal coach, I do all of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Oh, wait. You know what? I just hey, Pastor Joyce, I just saw this question. I need you to answer this question before we end today.
Okay.
She asked, what do you feel about those websites that allow AI creation of songs? What is your view on AI music?
So here's my view on AI music. AI is there to assist you. For those people who are using it as the total package and they're just using the AI voices, first of all, those voices came from places. They came from people.
Yes, they came from somewhere. They didn't just materialize
They came
out
from,
of thin air.
and
Yeah.
crazy part in that is that if you talk to me, I can tell you who the people whose voices those are because I've studied voices. So I can tell you the exact artist who that voice is. But AI is there to assist you. It's not the totality of your creation, but it's also guided by your prompts. So if you put in the correct prompts, you will get the correct response. If you pay the premium, you can get the stems and take all of that and then put an artist's voice to it. So it's a starter. So for artists who don't play music, play instruments, it's a great assist to you.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not the be all and the end all.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah.
it's a great assistant. It's a great base to start from.
Mm-hmm.
And then you build upon that. But if you just start there and you go, oh, that's wonderful, I'm going to release it, then yeah, that's where the problem comes in.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so for these AI artists who are making millions of dollars, I think that's absolutely unfair.
Yep.
You know, and those voices, again, those voices came from somewhere. So those artists whose voice you're using should be compensated.
Absolutely.
You know, the music that you've created, you should be compensated for that. But putting that AI artist out as an artist is unfair to real singers and musicians.
Yeah. Thank you for that response. I think I'm going to have maybe another episode that kind of talks about AI and
Yeah.
its impact, right? Because some people really use it as it should. It's worth it to use it as a guide if you need some clarity and stuff that you've written, or you just need a conversation partner. But it is not to be used for right. It ought to be some of you in it. Like you don't just use it and put it out as yourself, right?
Yeah.
It's a matter of integrity.
Like you can't
So,
tell artists create something on AI and then you put it out and go, that's me. It can't be.
of course not, because when they call you to go to sing live, what you gonna do?
What you gonna do? What you gonna do? You gonna Milli Vanilli us. That's what you're gonna do. We're gonna have
and we saw how that ended. We see how that ended.
You know, very quickly. So
Very quickly.
You know, it's unfair for those people who use it in that manner. You know, and I've used it.
Oh, what happened? There you are.
I've used it, you know, but I use it as a tool to get out my ideas. You know, and then I go in the studio and I take all the stems. For those who don't understand what stems are, that's each single part of what you've created: the bass, the guitar, the piano, the vocals, the background vocals, all of that. I take all those stems and then I remove the AI artist and I call in one of my singers and I have them sing it, because the AI artist can't produce the soul of the song.
Yeah.
They give you the feel of the song and the emotion of the song like a real artist can.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that with us. Thank you for that response. Speaking of song, we are going to end today with the remainder of, let me just add it to the stage, with the remainder of this video. And was this a song you wrote?
Yes, it's the very first song I wrote for Kim Summerson, and the very first release, the very first song I wrote for AeonStar Records, and the very first release on AeonStar Records with Kim Summerson.
Yeah, yeah. So prepare your ears. If you missed the beginning, you are in for a treat. Thank you all for joining us today. I can't wait for you to join us next week. We're going to be talking about the state of Black music. We're having an amazing panel. We're covering all genres. So if you are a Black music lover, and if you're concerned about the state of Black music, I want you to join us next week. So we're going to close out with the remainder of this video. Thank you again, Paris. You've been such a joy.
Yes,
you've been such a joy. We'll talk soon.
Yes.
And enjoy, everybody. Thank you for joining. We'll see you again next week.